we have some interesting remarks by friend of the channel at this point, DJ Academics,
Yeah.
who had some thoughts as on female rappers in general. And basically his thesis is female rappers don't have the same challenges as male rappers. He believes that making music is not a priority for female rappers because they have a litany of other ways that they can cash in on their persona, and it presents them with opportunities and things that they can take advantage of that male rappers simply can't. And he uses Megan Thee Stallion as a case study for this. So we'll get into Mr. Academics' comments here real quick. So this says DJ Academics claims women rappers like Megan Thee Stallion are more interested in being influencers than making music. DJ Academics is someone who does not mind taking shots at anyone and everyone who may oppose him, including Megan Thee Stallion. In fact, in the last few years, Academics has been accused of mainly having women targets. Although he may not see it that way, it is certainly a narrative that exists online. He has been quick to fire shots at women in the past. However, there have certainly been times when he has gone after them, like Vic Mensa and even Meek Mill. No, however, there have certainly been times when he has gone after men, like Vic Mensa and Meek Mill. Recently, DJ Academics found himself on stream for the first time in a couple of weeks. He was returning from vacation and had a whole lot to get to, especially in light of the new Drake and Party Next Door album.
Oh, bro.
During his stream, Academics devoted some time to congratulating Nicki Minaj and giving the pioneer her flowers. This subsequently led to a rant about women rappers today, Megan Thee Stallion in particular. It was here where he claimed that women rappers drop one huge album, then struggle to sell 100K first week because they want to be influencers. It was here where DJ Academics pointed out that Megan has 32 million followers on Instagram, but still struggles to sell her albums. One has to wonder why this happens, as the numbers don't lie in that regard, although it is impossible to assume an artist's intentions as we simply do not live in their head. During Academic Stream, which can be found on Twitch, Rumble, and YouTube, the commentator has always tried to hypothesize about the rap game to varying degrees of success. Megan Thee Stallion and other artists like Glorilla, Sexy Red, and even Doechii have been having good years as of late. While the first week album sales numbers might be weaker than anticipated, they have been able to cultivate dedicated fans with which a huge part of the equation for sustaining success. It will be interesting to see what they can all do in 2025. So let me go ahead and get rid of this. And at the risk of being flagged,
Fair use.
we're gonna go ahead and play some sound from what DJ Academics had to say. So here's a brief snippet of him getting into female rappers, basically saying that they deprioritize music and just want to be influencers. Yeah, that's what I need to do. Okay. All right, here's what he had to say.
You know the interesting thing about female rappers, like half of them, like female rappers don't have to drop music at the rate of a Drake, a Young Boy, or any of these guys who drop frequently, because they drop one project, go on one tour, they get so much marketing behind that all they do is have to post bikini pictures, and they get shit ton of marketing deals and these other promotional deals that really almost equate to their record label or their record deal. So it's like, why drop music all the time? Right? Like, if you wonder, like, love Cardi B, but like, Cardi B ain't dropping 5 years. Yeah, because Cardi B is still gonna be able to go get a fucking endorsement deal with some eyelashes or some nails or some makeup or whatever the case is. Which, as a guy, you might be able to get certain type of endorsements, but your endorsements won't really match what you would normally get on not only show money or being in the club money or your record deal, but as a female, like, shit, you post a picture, 2.3 million, you're gonna run it up. You get what I'm saying? You get shit. You know the amount of money people would pay for this? Look, we're the girls that like to have fun. If she's promoting some tequila, like, this is probably like a $200,000 This is like a $200,000 ad buy right here, damn near. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, what would she have to do to get $200,000 from her label? You know how many records you have to sell? Then you got to recoup doing all this shit. Like, fuck no. You see, like for female rappers, it is beneficial. Like, you know, I know people say it's unfair when, you know, female rappers to male rappers, but what female rappers could do that male rappers can't do is like use their sexuality to promote like a shit ton of other products, because you're going to get a woman who can't sell 100,000 records with 32 million followers, and she's going to be able to sell everything else. She's going to be able to sell booty shorts, sell tequila, drive the boat, or whatever it's called. So she's good. At least, you know, she's going to be good monetarily. But yeah, this was her last post before. I think this was the last post. She was like, oh, this is the last post of the year or whatever the case is. This is from last year. I'm looking in there, you know, I mean, has there been a lot of music? Where's the music at? No? Yeah, she's promoting tequila. She just has a birthday shoot. Yeah. Again, I'm not hating. I'm just saying, I think sometimes when we're talking about music and we start talking about these female rappers, it's the reason why, there is sexism in hip hop, but there is a reason why their music don't go nowhere. A lot of them not focused on music. Like Shorty, like just think about this. Shorty dropped a twerk video to I forgot what she dropped a twerk video. She dropped a twerk video, and then everything else she's posted since then got to do with her using her sexuality to promote some other shit. Again, she's making millions of dollars, but you don't expect that person who, like a nigga like NBA YoungBoy with a dent in his head, you think he could be like, oh, I'm just gonna be a model? No, nigga, keep dropping music. That's it, or you're not getting paid. Period.
All right, so that's pretty much the gist of it. So, as academics unmuting there, basically bringing up the dichotomy of sexuality to talk about the difference between male and female rappers. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that I disagree with that. You know, for him, the business that he's in, you know, boots on the ground, I would say, it's pretty clear observation to make. Me personally, I'm not too worried about how often these women come out with their music. So for him to make that you know, correlation there is because of, you know, the type of industry he's in and what type of business he's on. And yeah, he's always concerned about how much these rappers are selling first week and all of that. So me personally, I don't put much stock into that anymore. Nowadays with streaming and other things, the numbers are cooked in a weird way where these people aren't getting the right kind of representation for the amount of spends that they're getting, because these streaming platforms just arbitrarily came up with what equates into one sell or one this or one that. And if somebody listened to a song on repeat or whatever, and it's got X amount of millions of plays, that's pretty damn strong. But they'll say, oh no, that's only like 15,000 sales. And they do that to short the artist. So so I don't really buy that first week sales anymore. I don't think artists should do that anymore. If they're hanging their hat on that, they've missed the boat. The game is rigged. So, but be that as it may, you would still assume that even with the cooked up numbers or whatever, that some of these people would, I guess, do better than what they do. So even though the numbers are cooked up, it's on a curve now, you know. So they're still comparing themselves to each other. And, you know, some of these people I think will do better, but they don't. And I think that nowadays it's not so much about the music, it's about the personality associated with it. And I think people are buying the person more than they're buying the music nowadays. So Meg, she's got a lot of people that you know, she's got a lot of I don't know, people in her stable. What does she call her?
I think they're called the hotties.
The hotties, that's right. So she's got a lot of hotties out there, I guess. And you know, Nikki, she's got the barbs, right? So, people buy into her, and there's people that buy into Cardi B. So, um, and yeah, so he's got a point, you know, when it comes to these women selling themselves sexually and getting all these sidebar endorsement deals and stuff. And yeah, they can, because, um, women are something else. It was a joke on Seinfeld, man. Because this is an episode where Jerry was dating this girl who, she was an exhibitionist. She liked to walk around the house naked. And one day Jerry saw her, he was enjoying it, but one day he saw her trying to open a pickle bottle or something, and she was straining, and he didn't like the visuals on that. So after that, he got a little turned off, and he wanted her to stop. So he decided to get naked himself. And there was somewhere in there, I don't know who brought up the joke, but it was a very powerful point that they made. And they was basically saying that women's bodies they're beautiful things, man. Women like them, men like them. It's a work of art. But a man's body is hideous, man. Men are like creatures. And we're disgusting creatures. So even if there is a highly attractive male, no, he's not going to get as much money as a woman would selling themselves sexually. Um, so uh, so yeah, it's these female rappers. They all look like a particular type of way, and even if they're the petite type of rappers or whatever, they still are showing certain parts of their bodies. So all in all, I think all the female rappers know this. This goes in line with their box selling rap. So I don't really see. There's nothing really here that's a shocker by this. I think that's just part of the current business model. Is that these rappers, these female rappers, make a hit song about selling box, and then become what I guess air quote influencers on the back end, where they're always either at the top of some headlines for what they're wearing, or just getting into regular celebrity gossip stuff, just being part of the fodder, and that way they get paid too, staying on the top of the algorithms. So yeah, it makes sense to me. This is the current business model in rap, whether I like it or not. And but it makes sense to me. I don't necessarily condone it, but I understand it. But what are your thoughts, man, on what DJ Academics had to say? Akadiddy, basically out here saying, basically out here saying that these female rappers don't have to put in as much work as these male rappers because they can sell themselves sexually. What are your thoughts, man?
I agree with him. I agree with him. I think the only reason why there would be pushback towards the existence of this dynamic is
Mm-hmm.
because I think certain people who think, or rather, I think certain people who look at the world logically
Mm-hmm.
might be a bit confused, because I think logically minded people have been, especially in the last, I would say, I don't know, I would say within the last 2008. So what's that? 17 years since 2008. So I would say within the last 15 to 20 years, logically minded people have been told that, you know, the world as we knew it is dead, and the world as we need it to be is currently in the process of being created. And in that world, everybody is the same and equal, and no one is being sexualized. And so we need to we need to move away from living in a world where women are viewed as sexual objects and all of this other stuff. So I think certain people who look at things logically are experiencing a little bit of cognitive dissonance whenever they see individuals, whenever they see people like some of these female rappers willfully leveraging themselves sexually in order to get ahead in the world, because they're probably thinking to themselves, I thought we were supposed to be moving away from that. But the thing that you need to understand is we were never moving away from that.
No.
What we've been trying to move away from is women not being able to leverage themselves sexually on their own terms. See, I don't really think people, period, have an issue with women being sexualized or even over sexualized. I think the only issue is the perception that the sexualization of women is not being done on their own terms. I think as long as it's being done on their own terms, it's a free for all. People can sexualize themselves all they want. Hence, so long as it's a woman's decision to be naked, her being naked in public is actually an encouraging thing that
It's an
everybody should.
empowering thing.
Yeah, it's an empowering thing. Yeah. So like when these chicks show up at these award shows with these sheer dresses on where they're naked, like I don't need to know. Like I don't have to imagine what Sierra looks like naked. I've seen it.
Yeah, I've
I've
seen it.
seen it. Like just because she's wearing pasties over her nipples and her areola, I have a vivid enough imagination. I can pretty much in my mind picture what that looks like. I've seen everything else. And as far as I'm concerned, that's sexualization. So I don't really think female sexualization is the offensive thing that has been sold to us as. I just think that them not being able to do it on their own terms is the true offensiveness, not the existence of the sexualization in the first place. And I think for some people they're a bit confused because I think we've been sold on the idea that it's the mere existence of the sexualization that's the offending act, when really it's the ability to choose when and where and how to be sexualized, and the lack thereof that's the actual offending act. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So to bring that back to this topic, talking about DJ Academics, I think he's correct on that. I think he's right. I don't really think these female rappers, this is my personal opinion, I don't think these chicks really care about art or music. I think they care about being stars. I mean,
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion literally has a song where she's like, I'm a star, I'm a star. Like, I don't really think, like, you can see it. There's clearly a distinction between an individual such as Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, Sexy Red, there,
Oh, mercy.
Lotto. There are differences between those women, and if you look at somebody like Lauryn Hill, or if you look at somebody like Jean Grey, or if you look at somebody like Rhapsody, right? Even people who were like not even really good at rapping, but really did approach it with some sort of an artistic flair. Going back to people like Angie Martinez, for example. Like, I don't consider her amongst the pantheon of all-time great rappers, but she's one of those New York people who really did care about bars and lyrics and rapping. So when she was making her music, she approached it in the same way. And there's a difference between that and people like this current generation of rappers who I believe care more about being famous and being stars than being like lyricists and MCs. So when that is your priority, I believe, yeah, you're going to do whatever you can to meet that end goal. And making music is merely a part of your equation. But what's also a part of your equation is leveraging what you can from a physical standpoint. And so long as it's on their own terms, these women are going to leverage themselves sexually. And it is what it is. Like, I think he's right, but I also believe that the only reason why this is a point of conversation is because some people are looking at this and they're a bit confused by it because, like, the cultural and social ivory tower in the world has been trying to convince the world of the idea that we're moving away from this as something that people do. And we were never moving away from it. What we were trying to move more towards is women dictating how and when they can be naked and lewd and over sexualized, because the sexualization has gone nowhere. As a matter of fact, I would say it's even amplified. When I was, in high school or in my early days in college, women weren't trying to be naked in public, not on purpose. Now they're trying to be naked on purpose in public because it's viewed as a fashion statement. And it's viewed as a fashion statement because they're doing it on their own terms. Thus, it's okay and socially acceptable and empowering. And so that's what these female rappers are all about. I don't think Megan Thee Stallion cares really about being a rapper like that. I think she wants to be an influencer, famous person, and she's going to do what these chicks do nowadays, which is leverage their bodies, twerk, make sure that at any and every occasion, as much as possible, they're going to show off how good their bodies look because that's their draw and that's their contribution to the world. And if you are offended by what I'm saying, don't take it up with me. Take it up with them. They're the ones doing it.
Yep.
So, it is what it is. I think academics is correct. And this is something that men don't have the opportunity to leverage, which is part of why I think people need to have some perspective. For the crowd out there who's always, woe is me, women have it so bad, women have it so bad. Well, tell it to these influencer chicks who can get on OnlyFans and make $50 million in a year. How bad do y'all really have it? Because men don't have the ability to do that for the most part. And does it involve sexualization and exploitation of yourself? Yeah, but you can still have that avenue. You can still have at it with that avenue if you so chose. There's far more gym influencers who are popping on social media than who are women than men. No one cares about the male gym influencer. People only pay attention really to the women who are gym influencers. Why? Because it gives people more of an opportunity to gaze at their physical bodies.
Yep.
And no one wants to gaze at the male physical body in the gym.
It's hideous.
It's all about what the men, it's all about what the women want. It's all about what the women look like. And as you said, even women are on this. Women want to see naked women just as much as men do.
Which is weird.
Especially on the
Will LeBron say that's weird energy?
Yeah, especially on the internet, bro. Especially on the internet. So, I think he's right. And I do think that we are, I said this before, we are currently in the midst of social deconstruction, right? A facelift, as I like to call it. There is an aggressive mainstreaming and normalization of hyper female sexualization.
Yep.
But it's taken on a different form because it's more redeeming now due to the fact that it's the women themselves who are dictating their hypersexualization.
Correct.
So somehow it's morally more appropriate because they're the ones who are dictating it. But to me, the sexualization in and of itself remains, and it isn't going anywhere. So he's right. There is no incentive for them to be better at their craft because they can just put on lingerie, put on bikinis, shake their ass in a video or two, and the numbers go up, the comments go up, the like button gets hit. And men do not have the wherewithal to take advantage of that dynamic. So there is a dichotomy there, and there is a difference. And whether you think that's good, bad, right or wrong, fair or unfair, I'm not here to litigate that. I'm just saying that it does exist and it will continue.
Yeah, and the hypersexualization of what goes on in the West, honestly, anywhere now, it's concerning to me. People can't get enough of this stuff. Everywhere you turn, man, at least on social media, that is, you see twerking. These modern women that believe into this stuff, when all else fails, they just twerk. Okay, they just, hey man, this isn't working. Let me just turn around and shake my ass.
For example, not to cut you off, but there's just so many examples of this, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like, we should no longer be complaining about female sexualization. We should no longer be having any more debates about whether women are being unreasonably sexualized. I'm saying, like, that should be completely dead because they're doing it themselves. They're their own. No one's forcing this. Like, it's happening willfully because they get to dictate it. And the only reason why I bring that up is because even when I'm being innocuously sold something, the backdrop of it is sex. Attractiveness, sex.
100%.
Yeah, so like, I don't need you to be looking good. Like, don't give me a chick with a sexy body to sell me like Adobe Acrobat. I don't care.
They're doing it though.
But they're doing it. Exactly. and it's like, bro, I cannot get on my YouTube for 1 second and not see something on my feed where there's something that is otherwise mundane, right? An item at a grocery store, a seasoning, a movie, or a device. Yeah, something where it's like, I don't need sex to sell me this. Yet who's the person who's in the ad? A very attractive woman with a nice body. And the camera angle in the ad is panned out. You can see how nice her shape is. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So
it works.
It does work. So like, So my whole thing is
Uh,
this ongoing conversation talking about the victimization of women. It needs to go. It needs to stop. It honestly needs to stop because they're voluntarily, willfully engaging in this for themselves. So since they get to dictate their own terms, and we basically are complicit in the notion that because they get to dictate their own terms, it's now okay. We should now no longer be having debates about whether the sexualization happens. Who cares? Who
I now,
cares?
now that I agree with, but I'll just caveat, and I know what you're getting at. I'll just caveat where not all women are doing that, and so the ones that aren't, were that they're respecting themselves enough not to, and so and but the ones that are out here doing that for real, you know, I'm not here to. So if, like, let's say that there's a situation where a woman does go to the club with one of these modern dresses on, where you literally see ass cheek hanging out. Now I'm not saying that she should get assaulted in any kind of way, but at the same time, if everywhere she goes, a dude is hollering at her, "Hey, Red, hey, this, hey," she can't get pissed off. She can't say, "Hey, respect me for my mind," when your ass is hanging out. You know what I'm saying? So those days, they've been needed to go, but especially now. Especially now. But there are women out there that do carry themselves with class and with respect. They don't like none of this stuff going on. They're not walking around with multicolored hair. All right. They're not walking out here with eyelashes that touch their forehead. They're being regular people. And so for those types of women, much honor and respect to them.
Yeah,
But these girls are here that's muddy in the water are no different than these YNs out here muddying the waters for us guys. Because not all of us guys are out here on demon time. You know what I'm saying? Either sexually or violently. There's some guys out here that are just chilling, man. So I know that there's women out here that are just chilling, but these women out here are messing up the game. Like
yeah,
I said, when all else fails, twerk. And but not every woman in my feed, that I still have on my Instagrams, they're not all twerkers. You know what I'm saying? And so there's respectable women in there that are just trying to raise their family. Every once in a while, they want to show a little cleavage. Hey, man, that's whatever. But they're
mhm,
not out here wearing nipple pasties. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's a matter of knowing your personnel for these
yeah,
situations. And one last thing, yeah, man. So they weren't out here when we was in high school. They weren't doing that, but that's when the thong epidemic popped out.
yeah. Oh yeah,
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 because what I'm saying, girls were still, they weren't wearing big old granny panties. They had their little regular things going on, but then it transitioned over to thongs, and then they was letting they were wearing thongs because they'll let it ride over their jeans,
right.
and
Yeah,
that was causing an uproar amongst older women then. So,
yeah,
and the women was like, "What are y'all doing?" Now these girls out here, no draws at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just letting it clap about when they're just trying to go to the grocery store. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? All this free to nipple stuff. Hey man, they just walk out here braless, pantyless. You know what I'm saying? Can see right through it. And I got X-ray vision of Superman. You know what I'm saying? So I can already. You said your imagination. Hey man, so I could see through any damn thing. And these women are leaving nothing to the imagination. And then they're wondering, and some of these women are wondering why they're not in stable situations. They're in situationships here, situationships there, or whatever. It's because of how they view themselves. And if there was enough self-respect going on, then they would carry themselves differently, if you ask me. And because again, these women are no different than the YNs who love to walk around with their ass hanging out. You know what I'm saying? With they jeans down to their ankles, thinking that they thugging, and it's not. So, and I can tell you that those guys don't respect themselves. So yeah, we got an epidemic of that going on in the culture, and it needs to go, honestly. But the hypersexualization, it comes from all different angles, like you mentioned, man. You can't go anywhere without seeing it. I'm trying to watch, the football games and stuff like that. Commercials will come on. They're selling car insurance, like I mentioned, but
yeah.
they'll show some woman walking by. She's wearing jeans. She's
That's
fully covered, but
yeah,
the way that they showed the angle and stuff like that, it makes you Like, oh, all state. I didn't know y'all was doing it like that.
That's my thing. It's the pervasiveness.
It's
It,
everywhere.
yeah, that's my thing, bro. It's not like okay, so if I go to the club,
Mm-hmm.
I have an expectation I'm gonna see women dressing sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand that. Like, if I go to the club, if I go to any sort of gathering like that, any sort of social place, I go to a bar, a lounge, or whatever. I definitely expect to see women dressing sexy, and I don't besmirch that. I actually don't mind it at all. I appreciate it. But my thing is the pervasive sort of uh subliminal nature in which this is all taking place, where now it's like we're not even really concerned with the merit of what's being given to you, so long as it's being given to you within a sexual context,
Correct.
not
Correct.
inadvertently, but like subliminally,
Correct.
subconsciously, as an undertone.
Correct.
Then no one cares about whatever the thing actually is. Case in point, and we talked about her on the channel before, uh cooking with Kaya.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Right.
cooking with Kaya is not really about food.
No, it's not.
It's not about food. It's about her and her looks and her body. And now I am not here to litigate cooking with Kaya. I'm just pointing out what I see, which is food is the backdrop. But
Of course.
what's really going on here is her skimpy outfits, her hairdos, and her twerking, and her putting whipped cream, spraying whipped cream in her mouth.
You.
So that's about, like, for me, it's the pervasiveness of it. And I just think as a society, we have come to understand that, like, hypersexualization, especially when it comes to women, is a part of the cultural zeitgeist, and it's like okay now because women are dictating the terms of it. And if those are the rules that we establish, I'm fine with that. But I also kind of don't want to continue to be bombarded with constant think piece and conversation and intellectual debate over the merits of female sexualization in a patriarchal society when women are now signing up for it and doing it on purpose. That's my only point. And the
I,
last and the last thing that I will say is I hear where you're coming from. So yeah, I'm with you on that. This is not, I'm not trying
Mhm.
to be a generalizer and say all women are doing this, but it's obviously more of an aggressive mainstreaming of the behavior.
I
Like, we,
agree
we,
with
we could definitely agree with that. That
it.
this form of behavior is being aggressively mainstreamed and
Hmm.
being sold to
Yeah.
everybody as, like, who cares? Just go ahead and do this. It's where we are now.
Right.
So that's the difference. But if these are the rules, then fine. I'll rock with the rules. But I think right now there's some tug and pull in terms of appropriateness and what should and should not be happening. The world is saying one thing, but there's still certain pockets of people who are saying another.
I agree. And to your last point there, that is being aggressively sold, and that there were women that were on the fence in life, on the fringes, willing to buy this if it was sold to them, and it was sold to them, and they bought it. And much like how these corporations and stuff are using these subtle subliminal things in order to get you to pay attention to their car insurance or their refrigerators, uh, they um, they are selling you. They're selling sex very subtly in order for you to buy into whatever they're doing. And so these women have been sold sex as a form of control as well. This is, and so I talk about before whenever we're dealing with these corporations and stuff like that, is that they want a population of people that are off balance, and a population of people that are off balance are easier to control. And if they're easier to control, they're willing to give you their money. And so, in order to have a destabilized country, you need to make sure that these people are overly sexualized. And so so a lot of the stuff that these things are promoting is promoting a form of degeneracy, you know. And unfortunately, a large amount of people, both are, on the black side, white people, everybody, if you in America, you're being sold this garbage, you know. But our sisters right now, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot going on with this stuff, because a lot of these box rappers are literally spewing this garbage to them. And some women that don't even have talent at all on a microphone, just think they can go out there and make a hit and sell their body.
Or just don't even bother trying to do anything legit. They're immediately hopping on the OnlyFans
and selling their body.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, man. So to me, I think this speaks to a greater conversation as well, and it speaks to the over sexualization of the mind going on here. I'll just speak on the West. The over sexualization of it, both male and females. Females thinking that they can sell it, and men thinking that they have to buy it at every goddamn turn. Excuse my French, but it aggravates me, man, because you know what I'm saying. When I see it in the algorithms, I go, okay, she shook her behind. I get it, but some dudes buy it.
Mm-hmm.
They buy it, and now they all in the comment section thirsting for a page that it's not even her page, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a YouTube channel, and you sitting there, hey, what's her at? So you can go follow that. Yeah, man. Hey, man. Hey, bro. So, hey, man, people need to tighten up, but so long as the algorithms are not being controlled by the people, it's being controlled by the people who want to control people. This is going to be something that's going to be promoted for a while until honestly it's done its job. And right now it's doing its job because consumerism is still at an all-time high, even though inflation is at an all-time high. So yeah, man, people need to pay attention, man, of what's going on and what they're being sold, and not buy everything,
Yeah, and certainly stop buying all of the sex. That's a good place to start. But yeah, you're right, 100%, man. Slaves to vagina, bro. It is an epidemic. What are you gonna do?